What are your thoughts on some of the things that are going on in the world right now, some of the anti-Semitism that's kind of been in the news and pop culture?
There's so many, moments to feel bad about. But I unapologetically am who I am. I'm really proud of my culture. I'm proud of my religion. My children are proud of who they are. It's very confusing. It opens up the need for deeper dialogue. I think it opens up the need to really own who you are and understand who you are and be proud of who you are. I've never really dumbed that down on any level. It's interesting. There's so much talk about Judaism right now, and there's so much negativity right now in the world on all levels. There's so many misunderstandings.
Yes.
That it allows me to have that dialogue with my children a little bit deeper at home and knowing who they are and being proud of it. I try not to take a lot of things personally. And I just think that we have to keep doing what we believe in and doing with pride. And it's such a fragile time right now on so many levels. It's hard to speak openly. It's hard to speak up. It's hard to have an opinion about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, you can hardly say anything these days. I mean, the words that we can, it's so crazy.
What are 3 pivotal events that have made you the human being you are today?
Oh my goodness. 3 pivotal events. In no particular order, but I'll start with
no particular order.
Motherhood, which is the obvious one, but it really did instantly change my whole life. And it's my greatest learning opportunity, and they're my best teachers, and it's the greatest and hardest part of my life. I'll just keep it real. So Motherhood. Another one, funny but true, winning Dancing with the Stars was a huge accomplishment. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. And I've never worked harder at anything else in my life. And it was so thrilling. And even though it's like a silly Mirabelle trophy, like big deal, it was 3 months, 7 days a week of like blood, sweat and pain and tears and everything in between.
Did you think you had any shot of winning, like when you were going through it?
Hell no. No. I actually wanted to stick around for a couple of weeks. I had no idea.
Are you serious?
And then that segment, yeah. You don't even know. And then halfway through, you kind of want to get out of it because it's so difficult. So that was amazing. And, that segued me into hosting the show, which was also fantastic. And let's see, my other pivotal event in life, I guess divorce, because that really changes you and, changed my sense of expectations and the way I approached life, and taught me how to surrender, and taught me about self-love and acceptance and the power of change, and kind of started me on my journey of transformation. I think after 19 years of marriage, having those moments by myself was really telling and eye-opening, and an amazing opportunity to be by myself as a woman, which you really don't get if you're married and when you're with children. We carve out me time, which I'm a big believer in, but having that period of time on my own as a woman was absolutely pivotal.
So I want to ask you something, because I experienced this, and I'm not sure if you experienced this. Did divorce make you feel like, okay, that whole starry-eyed thing of I'm going to find the one and live happily ever after? Like, do you still have that, or did that kind of get shattered?
That's so cute. No, I get what you're saying. I don't still want that or need that. I had that in one marriage and I didn't in the other. When I was trying to be responsible, when I was intoxicated by love, one was the love of my life and my soulmate, one wasn't. I really am passionate about a healthy love right now with boundaries, a love that has purpose and that's fulfilling. And I'm so blessed to be in my new relationship with Scott, and he's an incredible human being, but it's the healthiest time of my life. And maybe it's because I've defined my own boundaries as a woman now in my 50s. Maybe it's because I brought everything that I didn't quite get right with me to the table. I bring a better version of myself to this relationship. But it's different. I don't need the things I used to need.
You
Right?
don't need that whole thing
I
anymore.
don't
Okay.
need stars anymore. Sometimes my kids tell me that. It's so funny. My kids are always like, yeah, do I need that anymore? I don't know. It's different. It's different when we grow up, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. With your fitness journey, and I don't know if fitness was always a huge part of your life, but in 2012, when you were diagnosed with thyroid cancer, was that what jump started the fitness journey, or was it happening before then?
Fitness was always a big part of my life. I think I have a much better and much clearer understanding of my body today as a woman than I did back then. Being diagnosed with thyroid cancer segued me into being an advocate for women's health. And it was really because of the process of being diagnosed in a yearly physical and really understanding the value of medical knowledge that we have right now and kind of fighting for that and telling my story to inspire and to help many other people that were going through the same thing, and understanding the value of being a great patient and understanding the medical possibilities that we have today and the opportunities that we have to care for ourselves. And, that self-care commitment became very quickly a much bigger picture. And I really do believe in that it's the mind, body, spirit, mind, body, nutrition. It's the union of all these things. I can show people how to get in shape all day long. It's not that. It's how we care for ourselves, how we speak to ourselves, how we meet ourselves, how we fuel our bodies. Self-love, self-compassion, how we get our inner strength. All of that is really important to me. And the messaging and the philosophy at Brooke Burke Body is really about that. It's mindful fitness, mindful movement. It's incorporating mantras. It's knowing how to slow down and listen, valuing ourselves, changing our inner dialogue, all of those things that I think help us create that inner strength that allows us to do everything else that we want to do.
What do you think, looking back, created the cancer? Like, are you of the mind that it was created somehow by something spiritual, emotional, trauma, or are you of the mind that it's just the luck of the draw, just kind of happened? How do you look at that?
I think that, our body weeps the tears that we don't cry. I love that saying. I think there are toxic energies and feelings that we compartmentalize that affect our body. Cancer in particular, I'm not sure. Could I blame it on the environment? Who the hell knows? We say that.
Yeah.
Our emotional traumas toxic? Sure, they are. I don't know. What it showed me and how it rocked me was that there's something a little bit larger than my wellness philosophies that could really change my body. That was really scary. People often ask me, did it make me take better care of myself? No, because I was doing that already. But what it taught me was how diligent we need to be in our self-care. And having those markers and gaining that knowledge and paying attention to the little signs. Because I think women, not just women, I think everyone, there's usually an event that happens that shifts us or makes us change. We don't just decide, I'm going to design this healthy lifestyle and I'm going to maintain it
Wouldn't
from
that be
higher
great
health.
if that were the case? Yeah.
Okay. And I get it. So that's why I like to help people create a healthy lifestyle. And that's why I'm so loud about it.
What do you think is the hardest lesson you've ever had to learn? And now how has it served you in a positive way?
The hardest lesson, I guess, what comes to the top of mind would be where I had to really surrender in my fantasy of forever. I thought love lasted forever. I would have sworn that I would have been married forever. That was the intention, the goal, and that was sort of the fairy tale. So that was a big pivotal moment. That was a big turning point, and that was a big surrender for me to not equate divorce to failure, and to realize that there was a need for change, and to allow myself those moments to shift and change and redesign my idea of what family was supposed to look like. So that really, really changed me, and a very hard lesson to share with children. And I think I was very romantic as a young woman. I really thought I was really banking on forever. And it doesn't mean that I don't believe in it today. I just surrendered to what was, and I didn't give up. I really fought the fight until it was time to change. And I think that's an important concept. And I think people need to fight for commitment and boundaries and having a relationship based on integrity. but sometimes, sometimes change is necessary. So that was a deep learning lesson for me.
And how do you know when you're in love? Like, what is that feeling to you? What is being in love for you?
Oh, it's changed so much through the years. What a loaded question. So different for everyone. Me personally, I know when I'm in love, when I have a feeling of fulfillment. And I'm not going to say the word easy, but when there's flow, like when it feels good. And for me, love is, in my life right now, love has a beautiful flow to it. There's not a resistance. It's not a struggle. It's complicated. Love is complicated, especially with a blended family. But there's an ease and a contentment and a sense of fulfillment that I have all the time now with Scott. And it's such a relief. And it's so joyful. And it feels safe. And I think that love should feel safe.
What do you think you came into this world as Brooke Burke to learn? And what do you think you came here to teach?
What did I learn? I think I came here to teach. Well, let me see. Wow. These are beautiful questions. I think I came here to teach women how to connect with themselves. And it's been one of the greatest lessons in my life for myself and my children. Mindfulness means so many different things to different people, but creating stillness, creating moments of self-awareness, self-actualization has been an incredible learning experience for me. I work with a lot of women in the transformation space and retreats, and just watching women connect with themselves is an opportunity to discover, to dream, to create moments of stillness. It takes a lot of courage to get really still and like kind of listen to the language of your soul. So I think I'm learning that now in my late 40s and 50s, the value of stillness, of space, personal space. I think as a mother, businesswoman, and an entrepreneur and raising 4 children, there's very little time for self. And I take that very seriously now, and I create those moments and I take that time. And, I'm working on a body of work right now called a soul contract. Many people have, but it's really about the commitment to self and defining those boundaries and the promises that we make and how we value those and keep them. What are our deal breakers? What are the parameters? Can we meet ourselves with a commitment and boundaries the same way that we approach and we enter into other contracts in life, marriage, mortgages, careers, contracts. I mean, we do it all the time, but I don't feel like we're as deeply committed to self. So that's what I'm learning. The value of self-care, commitment. And I think I'm here to kind of share that experience. That's what I do in my wellness space. It's mindfulness for me.
What are your thoughts on some of the things that are going on in the world right now, some of the anti-Semitism that's kind of been in the news and pop culture? How do you feel about it? How do you handle it? Is your instinct to get angry, or is your instinct to just kind of lead with love? Like, how do you feel about it?
Well, I don't really I don't meet racism with love on any level to anyone.
Right.
Take that very seriously. I don't take things personally in the media, whether it's a headline that was incorrect about a misquote of something that I said or misinterpretation. I don't really internalize a lot of that, even on social media when it comes to criticism. As far as what happens in pop culture and the world that we're living in right now, there's so many, moments to feel bad about. But I unapologetically am who I am. I'm really proud of my culture. I'm proud of my religion. My children are proud of who they are. It's very confusing. It opens up the need for deeper dialogue. I think it opens up the need to really own who you are and understand who you are and be proud of who you are. I've never really dumbed that down on any level. It's interesting. There's so much talk about Judaism right now, and there's so much negativity right now in the world on all levels. There's so many misunderstandings.
Yes.
That it allows me to have that dialogue with my children a little bit deeper at home and knowing who they are and being proud of it. I try not to take a lot of things personally. And I just think that we have to keep doing what we believe in and doing with pride. And it's such a fragile time right now on so many levels. It's hard to speak openly. It's hard to speak up. It's hard to have an opinion about a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sakes, you can hardly say anything these days. I mean,
I
the word
know.
use the words that we can. I mean, it's so crazy. It's sad to me, but it's also reckless. And I think social media and I think media allows people a platform, not always holding them accountable, to just sort of spit things out. You know, it's very different. It's become very impersonal. It's a weird time, you know, and you know, we have to take that power back also in social media, that we tell our own story.
Right.
You know, we're corrections. We're able to change our narrative. We're able to express ourselves in any way that we so choose if we're brave enough. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't, and a lot of people are doing it incorrectly. It's complicated. This is like a big discussion, you know, it's it's insane, right?
Yeah. I mean, I struggle with, like, do you meet it like this, you know, which tends to not be so great, or do you try to rise above? Do you correct ignorance? Do you speak out? If so, how do you speak out? Will your words be twisted? It's just, it's, you know, and then you think about the history of it.
And it's so rare to be in the media. I mean, working for a network, you really can't say much of anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
People try. I mean, we know how that goes. On a platform like this, we kind of can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
And there's freedom in that. That's a big frustrating part for me, especially as a journalist as well. At what point is our freedom of speech, you know, being too controlled? And that is really frustrating for me. But I don't feel the need to correct anyone. I feel the need to correct things that are misinterpreted about myself. But, you know, I parent my children, I correct them when I need to, and I kind of surrender to everybody else because it's not my role. It's not my place, nor would it serve me. And I think it's sad, you know, I think it's really sad. And there's a lot of ignorance. And I think it's a lack of education, you know, in many ways.
Agreed.
It really is.
Agreed. Your departure from Dancing with the Stars in 2014 was, I don't know, somewhat disrespectful, and you were kind of blindsided. It was really weird. How do you handle rejection? And, like, what's your perspective on rejection when something like that happens and you feel like you're not being valued?
It's hard. No, it's an amazing conversation because, you know, rejection, how do we process rejection? What did that moment really mean for me? I was hired on, I thought, the greatest show, you know, during that time. And I was let go of that show. And, you know, if I didn't have other meaningful things in my life, and if I wasn't grounded, and if I didn't have a foundation that was built on purpose and love and family, I would imagine that I would have been quite lost. And especially in the entertainment business, that's so unpredictable and so out of our hands and can be so inconsiderate at times. I always tell people, make sure you have meaning in your life and you do things that really matter, that go far beyond that. Like, I've been so blessed and I loved working in the entertainment business, but I have a lot of other things that really feed my soul and my spirit. That moment in leaving Dancing with the Stars, being let go of Dancing with the Stars, I should say, to be accurate, was a really shitty departure, unexpected and shocking, and not handled in a gentlemanly way. That's showbiz, right? So that wasn't the surprise. The surprise was those moments where you expect to be treated the way that you treat other people. And that's just simply not true. And people don't really let us down. They break our expectations. So what that moment did to me was it allowed me to sort of dig a little deeper and say, okay, what's next? It inspired me to get more creative and to find the next opportunity. Leaving Dancing with the Stars inspired me to start Brooke Burke Body. I would never have had time to bury myself into building a new business. It actually allowed me the opportunity to do what I'm doing, which was exactly what led me to where I am right now.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Totally. Now, at the time, I was like, whoa, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
But then you take the moment and I went, because that's just the woman I am. I sort of rolled up my sleeves and went, now what? Now what's my move? Right.
Mhm.
And I had to take full responsibility on what's the next move. And
Right.
yeah, it was shitty, but where do you go from there? So I always, I think it was I don't know, I think it was a quote during that time was like, I'm going to walk out of here as gracefully as I walked in. That's just the woman that I am. And I'm going to take all of the beautiful moments during that stint and that journey in my life without any regrets. I had an amazing time hosting that show. I made incredible friendships. I had incredible, pivotal moments, during during that stint. So, what do you do with it? What do you do when things shift and life changes? That's what defines our strength as human beings, at least as a woman. For me, I wouldn't be here today in these moments and in this space if I were still. Can you imagine if I was still hosting that show? Can you imagine?
That's what's so amazing is that sometimes God is just like, no, time to go this way.
Yeah,
I love that.
Signs are there and we're like, we're not watching. And, that's one of my deepest wishes and my prayers is show me signs that I can see. Give me messages that I can, give me words that I can taste that have value, give me a voice that's meaningful. And I'm always paying attention to the signs right now. And, it sounds cheeky. Oh, one door closes, another one. And it's not just that. It's okay. Now what? Wake up, keep moving forward. And what is this shift propose for you? Right. So
Right.
I took it a little bit deeper and found the opportunities in it, let's say.
So now let's close with how can people find Brooke Burke Body and how could they become a part of it and how could they start doing the workouts and all of that stuff?
Brooke Burke Body is everywhere. It's on every smart TV. It's in the App Store. I guess the easiest way to find me is at brookeburke.com. And that's a porthole for all things longevity, recipes, blogs, community, inspiration, all of the fitness work that I do, all of the wellness work that I do, in-person experiences, everything's there. And I really do love to connect with women and men. It's not just for women, it's mostly women, but it's a community that's there to help us grow and inspire one another. And I'm so grateful to be in this space because it's changed me. And I love it. I love doing this work and I'm going to continue doing this work that's really choreographed and designed for all of us. So I hope that your audience connects and then I get an opportunity to, tap into that and continue to do what I do.
Yeah. So people can go to brookeburke.com and you can find Brooke Burke Body and how you can get on there either through the App Store or on a lot of the smart TV apps. And then they can also find the longevity superfood blends on there as well.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Everything.
Yay. Awesome.